A wolf discovered a young puppy concealed in the underbrush while wandering through the woods. Her partner became more concerned since the only thing she could accomplish for days was lie on the cave's floor. The wild beast adopted the helpless dog and included him in his pack out of compassion. The events in this tale were unexpected by the wolf, the pack, and the puppy, but the situation ended up working out for all of them. A female wolf was sleeping in a cave far into the woods. All of her pups had died after years of attempting to birth alongside her partner. The entire pack felt her sadness, and the other females made an effort to comfort her. She was obliged to follow her partner and all of the wolves because he was the pack's alpha. There was nothing else he desired more than having offspring to call his own, even though he was viewed as a loving father by his pack. The despondent female wolf eventually lost all of her drive. He even bring her raw meat after the pack's routine hunting expeditions, even though various wolves would have eaten it right after he left. The alpha really cannot ignore the appearance of his mate's physique becoming thinner and weaker. She was just not interested in eating at all. The human counterpart of their connection would be marriage. Wolves are one of the many animals that mate for life, and partnerhood is highly valued within packs. One day, the alpha wolf chose to take a long stroll in the forest. He took his time moving through the trees and was attentive to every sound. At this hour of the day, the woods were peaceful, but suddenly he perceived a sound that was low and hidden by the fluttering leaves. But still, the alpha had keen senses and could see things more clearly than just about any other wolf in the territory. He pursued the sound until he discovered a scent trail. Although he could tell that the creature was a dog, the fragrance didn't resemble the wolf smell that he was used to. The wolf quickly came to the trail's end. He saw a little animal as he moved the brush aside with his paw. The puppy was huddled and shivering and was sobbing out for its mother. The enormous wolf raised his snout to smell any nearby animals, but there were none. The wolf concluded that the pup was getting hungry as well as lonely as its screams seemed to become louder. Even though wolves are renowned for being fearsome hunters and are appropriately the dread of others woodland animals, this does not exclude them from having emotional intelligence and sensitivity. Even though he was aware the dog would not be like him, the wolf used his jaws to pick up the youngster. Then he ran off in the direction of his pack. The alpha went back to his mate first. He hoped that the appearance of a baby animal would awaken her motherly instincts as she was still unwell. Although the wolf had already made up his mind to raise the dog as a son, he also sought the consent of his pack. The infant dog was being carried by the alpha as he entered the cave. The alpha then set the dog next to his mate. The female wolf finally turned over and noticed the little animal. She began to nurse him, and the puppy began eating for the first time in a while. The female wolf's countenance appeared content. Nobody could have predicted how a wolf's choice to introduce a canine pup to his pack would affect numerous canines for decades to come. For the next few years, the dog pup was reared by the pack's alpha female and male. Here's how they raised the small pup. The dog was able to hone his hunting abilities with practice. As he grew older, the physical contrast between the dog and the wolves became more obvious. Still, he would often accompany his father as he led the pack. The dog was always regarded as a member of the family, even though he stood out from the other individuals. All of this was altered, though, when people discovered the dog. The dog wandered too far from his group while out hunting one day. The occupants of a cabin saw the dog and approached it. An adolescent kid dashed out and quickly encircled the dog with his arms. The dog joined his separate family starting on that day. Despite how much he missed the wolf pack, the dog felt compelled by his character to remain with the people. It is said that a man's best friend is a dog, after all. The dog was given the nickname Akito on the day the adolescent boy discovered it. Akito became close to the youngster and his family as they spent more time together. The children's father was taken aback by Akito's skill in searching for rabbits. Although he was aware that his son had discovered the dog in the forest, much remained unknown about the strange animal. Nevertheless, the father was taken aback by their new pet's abilities. He chose to bring Akito on one of his riskier hunting expeditions as a result. He had observed how Akito dealt with rabbits and birds, but was interested to see how the dog would handle larger creatures. The father brought his teen son along on this excursion since he had just begun teaching the youngster how to hunt. The group had previously been in the woods, but everyone entered this time and appeared more nervous. The son jumped upon hearing the slightest noise of rustling leaves since he was so intensely observant of his environment. The typically reticent dog kept his mouth shut the entire time and followed his two owners loyally. Soon after, Akito took off to the left and cries could be heard all around the gathering even though no animals could be seen. Then a huge gray wolf appeared in the forest not too far away. As the wolf charged at them, the son yelled. Quickly raising his gun, the father pointed it at the creature's face. Akito started barking as he positioned himself in front of the weapon. He first growled at the man. He then growled toward the wolf. The wolf didn't immediately recognize the dog in front of him. It was his son, the dog pup he had long ago spared and taken in, and the wolf went in his direction, gently tackling Akito. Three small cubs and another wolf emerged from the forest behind them. The alpha's partner had born wolf pups following Akito's exit from the pack. The father held his trembling son and put his pistol down. His owners look at each other after seeing the spectacle with tearful eyes as Akito is accompanied by his wolf siblings and parents. Since that time, the father has given up wolf hunting and has vowed to preserve them until his death. If you want to read more stories like this, subscribe to our channel.